Okay, let's get into this. We have a really fascinating set of source material today. It actually comes from a conversation that was designed for language learners, but the insights inside it are they're completely universal.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't really about language. It's about, well, applied behavioral psychology, how we make progress on anything, really.
Right. So our deep dive today is all about that. It's about personal progress.
What the sources give us is this simple, almost elegant way of dealing with that gap between where you are now and where you really want to be.
That's the mission then. We're going to try and cut through all the noise, all the complicated goal-setting theory, and just find a framework that's actionable.
Exactly. For you listening, this is a shortcut. It's a way to stop feeling paralyzed by, just how big your ambitions feel or how much information is out there.
It's aspiration overload. I think we all feel that.
Yeah.
You want this huge life change.
Yeah.
But the thought of creating a huge plan it's just daunting.
And this material, it kind of solves that. It draws a really clear line between those big inspirational wishes, what the source is called dreams, and the tiny tangible things we do today, our goals.
And that distinction is everything. We need to establish it right at the top. So a dream is that big wish for your future. The what?
The what, exactly. The ultimate destination. Whereas a goal is a small plan. It's the how. It's what you're doing in the next 5 minutes.
That clarity.
Yeah.
That's the launch pad. It moves us from just wishing for something to actually taking action.
Constantly.
Okay, let's start charting that path. So when we start talking about defining the dream, though the sources are really specific here. We are not talking about, the dreams you have when you're sleeping.
No flying elephants, no talking dogs.
Like, this is about the big picture.
Yeah.
The life you genuinely, deeply desire. The kind of life that pulls you forward.
It's that destination that, if you reached it, would fundamentally change who you are, your whole situation.
And it's not just a checklist, is it? It's not just make more money or get a promotion.
No, I think that's a crucial point. It's about the meaning you get from those things. Sure, it can be concrete, like running your own business. That's a great dream. But the dreams that really stick, the ones that have staying power, they're almost always tied to something emotional.
You mean things like just achieving a calmer life, less stress.
Exactly. Or having the financial stability to really help your parents. Or maybe it's just that quiet feeling of pride when you handle a tough conversation really well.
That makes so much sense. The dream is the emotional hook. It's the fuel for the long haul.
Right. But the problem, and the sources nail this, is that emotional fuel can stall out pretty quickly when you look at how long the journey is.
The dream is just too big. It feels theoretical.
Yeah, your brain puts it in the same category as winning the lottery. It's a nice idea, but it doesn't feel real.
And that's where the inertia kicks in. It feels unattainable, so you don't even start.
Which is exactly why we need the goal. The goal is that small, concrete step you take right after you think about the dream.
So we have that simple equation they use. Dream is the big wish. Goal is the small plan.
And the whole purpose of the goal is to make the psychological cost of starting tiny, almost zero.
So if my dream is, I want to master quantum physics.
Right, a big one.
Trying to master it today is it's paralyzing.
Of course. But a goal would be, I'm going to read 2 pages of the introduction right after this deep dive. The smallness is its power.
I have to push back on that a little, though. For our listener, who's probably pretty high achieving, doesn't that sound a bit soft? 5 minutes of effort when my dream is huge? Is that just an excuse?
It's a fair question, and it gets at a really common misunderstanding about motivation. The sources talk about this team analogy.
Okay.
Dreams and goals are a team. They travel together. And the goal's job isn't intensity, it's initiation. Yeah, you're just signaling to your brain, okay, we started. The hardest part of anything is that initial resistance, that inertia. A 5-minute goal, just it gets the motor running. And once it's running, momentum often carries you way further than you planned.
So the small goal is a psychological hack. It's designed to get us moving, not to be the final word on how much effort is needed.
Precisely. It bypasses all that decision fatigue. Asking, how do I build a whole new business it's overwhelming.
Right.
But asking, what's the very next 15-minute action I can take? That's simple. It's clear. You can do that.
Let's use the examples from the source material because they make this really tangible. First up was the studio course dream.
Yeah, this was a big one. Running a physical studio, bright, cozy, plants, coffee, all of that, and also creating a whole online course for shy learners.
2 huge projects. But the goal attached to it was almost shockingly simple.
Just 15 minutes every weekday, working on the course idea. And the power in that isn't about what got created in those 15 minutes.
No, it was the consistency, the commitment.
The sources called it the minimum viable action.
And the analysis of that is where the gold is, I think. 15 minutes isn't enough time to get distracted, but it's just enough time to do something real.
You can write one example sentence. You can outline one tiny part of a lesson.
It's not about the volume. It's about making a declaration. It's saying, I'm coming slowly, but I'm coming.
Yes. And this taps right into self-efficacy theory. Every time you actually do that 15-minute goal, you're gathering this little piece of psychological evidence.
Evidence that you're the kind of person who follows through.
Exactly. You keep your promises to yourself. And that makes it easier to do it again the next day. If they had aimed for 2 hours a day, the chance of failure and then feeling discouraged would have been so much higher.
Small, real action beats big, imaginary perfection. Every time.
Every single time.
Okay, let's talk about the second example, the house life dream.
Right. So the visible dream was a small house, a garden, a quiet place to record.
Tea and flowers, that sounds lovely.
It does. But the deeper dream, again, was emotional. It was about a slower life, less traffic, less noise.
And so the goals had to address both sides of that, the practical and the emotional.
Right. So goal number 1 was logistical. It was about saving money. Treating a fixed amount every month like a bill you have to pay.
They called it rent for your future. Love that.
Yeah.
I mean, rent is not negotiable, right? You just pay it.
You just pay it. So this phrasing turns saving from this optional thing you do if there's money left over.
Which there never is.
Exactly. Into a mandatory commitment to yourself. It's a behavioral economics trick, really.
Yeah.
It removes the daily decision of if you're going to save.
And you could apply that to anything. Rent for your future knowledge. The
Right.
first 30 minutes of your day is just mandatory learning time.
100%. It's a brilliant principle.
But the second goal was the one that really stood out to me. Practicing the dream now.
This is about what psychologists call future self-integration. The goal was to spend at least one afternoon a week in a park, a green space.
To practice the feeling of the quiet life you want in the future.
Yes. You're pulling the emotional reward of the dream into your present reality.
So you're not just waiting for the house. You're building the feeling of peace right now.
Yeah.
That's revolutionary for people whose dreams feel like they're decades away.
It creates emotional proof that the dream is worth the effort. When you're sitting in the park feeling that calm, you're building a real connection to that future state. And that feeling is what will carry you through the tough days when the logistics seem impossible.
It turns an abstract hope into a concrete, positive feeling.
That's it.
So the big takeaway for you, the listener, is that progress isn't just about waiting and working. You have to practice small pieces of that future life today.
So the question is, what tiny thing can you do right now that feels like a small, honest piece of your big dream?
5 minutes of focus. 1 page read, 1 coin saved. It has to be small, but it has to be honest. Something you can actually genuinely do today.
And that honesty, that's the foundation of self-trust. We lie to ourselves all the time with goals that are too big. I'll go to the gym for 2 hours tomorrow.
And then when we fail, we trust ourselves a little less.
Exactly. But setting a small, honest goal, I will do 3 push-ups now, that builds rock-solid self-trust. And that's the foundation you build a dream on.
Okay, so we have the blueprint. We know the dream. We have an honest goal. But now we hit reality.
The sharp edge of a reality.
Right. We have the vision, but staying focused. I mean, that's where 90% of all this momentum just dies.
The path from vision to execution is just full of friction, isn't it? We're up against the modern world, the comfy sofa, the little dopamine hit from a notification.
Endless scrolling.
The sources give us 4 really simple strategies for dealing with that daily chaos, starting with a powerful one for diffusion of focus.
Oh, I know that feeling so well. Wanting everything at once. Learn a new skill, launch a business, get in shape, learn guitar.
All by Friday.
Yes. And it's exhausting. Your brain just sees the impossibility of it all and defaults to the easiest thing. Checking email, scrolling.
Which is why the solution, strategy 1, is to choose your priority. The sources call it the driver.
A deliberate, temporary choice.
Very temporary. You just pick one main dream for this season of your life, say the next 3 to 6 months. You're not abandoning the other dreams. You're just admitting you have finite energy.
But doesn't choosing one mean I'm failing at the others? It feels like giving up on 7 important things.
That's the feeling of opportunity cost, and it's real. But what you're actually doing is gaining momentum. Research is so clear on this. It's bound to make 100% progress in one area, then 10% progress in 10 areas.
The other dreams are still in the car, so to speak.
They're in the car, but only one is the driver. The driver gets the best of your time and energy. It's the thing that goes first.
So once that priority is clear, we need to translate it into a daily action that can actually survive all the distractions. Which brings us to strategy 2. Establish a daily anchor action.
Right. Dreams are up in the clouds. The anchor is on the ground. It answers the question, what specific tiny thing will I do today at 7 p.m.?
An anchor keeps a boat stable. This keeps your dream stable in your day. I like that.
And the most important part of it is consistency. It has to be done again and again. And this is critical. It has to be tied to a specific time. Sometime today is the kiss of death for good intentions.
It just means never.
It almost always means never. So pairing the action with a time is the foundation of habit science. You need a clear cue. After dinner, I will work on my project for 15 minutes. That consistency builds the neurological pathways. It becomes automatic.
I have to admit, my brain is an expert at fighting this. It's brilliant at finding urgent, unnecessary tasks right before my anchor action is supposed to start.
Like organizing your bookshelf.
I once spent 45 minutes organizing my sock drawer to avoid starting a writing project. My brain just wants snacks and drama.
That's the psychological friction. It's completely human. Procrastination is just our brain trying to avoid the immediate discomfort of a hard task. Recognizing that is the first step.
And once you recognize it, that's where strategy 3 comes in. Protect your attention from dream thieves.
Dream thieves, anything that steals your time and energy, notifications, endless scrolling, and the biggest one of all, multitasking.
We all know multitasking is bad, but I think we need to go deeper. What is it actually doing to our brains?
It's forcing your brain to pay a massive tax. It's called a cognitive switching cost. Every time you switch from studying to checking a message to watching a video, your brain's executive function, the part for planning and focus, it just gets shredded.
It's like trying to drive a car and constantly slamming it between first and fifth gear. You burn all your fuel just switching gears and never actually get up to speed.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And the solution the sources give is so simple. Create a short, protected block of time.
Not a 3-hour marathon.
No, just 10 or 15 minutes. But during that time, you use external controls. Phone on silent and out of sight. Close the extra tabs. Tell people you're unavailable.
I like the idea of using environmental cues for this, like moving to a different chair or having a focus corner.
Your environment is a huge trigger for your behavior. If you always scroll on the sofa, sitting on the sofa makes you want to scroll. By physically moving or just clearing your desk, you're sending a powerful signal to your subconscious.
You're saying, okay, we're serious now.
This space is for deep work. It removes the cues for distraction and helps you get into a state of focus so much faster.
So we got the systems in place: priority, anchor, protection. But there are still hard days. Days you're tired, stressed, discouraged, and even a 15-minute block feels impossible.
And that's why the last piece is strategy 4. Reconnect with your why.
Mindset maintenance.
It's critical. On those low-energy days, you have to connect back to the real reason for the dream, that emotional fuel we talked about. If you only focus on how hard the task is, you'll quit.
But if you focus on the meaning of the outcome,
You're much more likely to push through. So if your anchor is to read a complex paper for 15 minutes and you're exhausted,
you don't think about the paper.
no, you think about your why. I want this knowledge so I can feel confident in that meeting next month. That's your intrinsic motivation.
And the actionable tip here is to make that why visible. Write it down.
Yeah.
Put it on your desk or your phone's lock screen.
Yes, that visual cue provides that tiny little push you need on a hard day, just enough to get you to do those 5 or 10 honest minutes.
And crucially, the sources add this element of grace. If you miss a day, it's not over.
The dream is not canceled. You are not a failure. This is about flexible loyalty. You just acknowledge it. Okay, that was a tough day. And then you say, but today I'm coming back.
Progress is made by the people who keep coming back.
Not by the people who are perfect. So we've built the plan and we've put the systems in place for focus. Now we have to talk about the emotional armor.
Because ambition always attracts doubt. Always.
Both from the outside and even more so from the inside. If you ignore this emotional part of the journey, you're almost guaranteed to get derailed.
The pain of external doubt is so immediate, isn't it? You share this little fragile dream you have. Maybe it's starting a business or learning an instrument in your 40s.
And the response you get is, you, at your age. Or, isn't that a bit risky?
Yeah, or just that subtle look that says, That's nice, dear. Stay where you are.
We really have to analyze where that comes from. The sources reframe this so powerfully, those discouraging words. They're usually about their fear, not your limit.
Their fear, not your limit. Say more about that.
Well, people love the status quo. It's safe, it's comfortable. When you try to change your life, you're disrupting their sense of safety, so they try to pull you back, often without even realizing it.
The sofa analogy from the sources was perfect for this. You want to go climb a small, manageable mountain, and they're shouting, "Stay on the sofa, it's dangerous out there."
They're just projecting their own unwillingness to take a risk onto your journey. Sometimes it's even an unconscious thing. They don't want you to succeed too much because it might shine a light on their own stagnation.
So how do you protect yourself from that? How do you build up the armor?
The first line of defense is selective sharing.
Don't tell everyone.
Don't tell everyone. A new dream is fragile. The sources say you should keep it a little private and precious, like a small light you protect with your hands.
I love that image.
You only share it with people who get it, a supportive friend, a coach, a community that's on the same path.
You don't ask for directions from someone who's never left their own driveway.
Exactly. And if you do get those discouraging words, the armor is your internal response.
What you say to yourself.
Yes, a polite internal dismissal. Okay, I hear your concern, but you don't see what I see yet. And that's okay. I see it. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need a few people, and one of them has to be you.
That's the hard part, though, because the loudest voice is almost always the internal one. The inner critic.
Oh, that's the one. The voice that says, I'm not good enough, it's too late for me, my idea isn't special. And it's loudest when you're tired or you've just made a mistake.
It's so insidious because it uses your own voice against you.
And this is where the loyalty principle comes in. It's a key emotional tactic.
The sources say that when your energy is low, you should never make a big decision about quitting.
Never. That's when the inner critic is strongest. Instead, you just focus on a small act of loyalty.
Loyalty to yourself.
To yourself and the dream. Loyalty here is just a quiet, stubborn commitment to stay in the game. If you plan to work for an hour but you feel completely overwhelmed, you don't quit. You do 5 honest minutes.
5 honest minutes. That small action is like an insurance policy. It says, even when it's hard, I still show up for myself.
That's the crucial distinction. Perfectionism says, if I can't do it all, I'll do nothing. Loyalty says, I'll do the bare minimum to keep the flame alive. It values the commitment more than the output for that day.
And that all rolls up into what the sources call the daily choice. Every morning, you're basically asking yourself,
today, am I for my dream or am I against my dream?
Being for it means supporting it with your thoughts, your words, your small actions. Being against it is criticism, avoidance, saying later, later, later.
And you won't choose for it every single day. That's impossible. But real progress comes from stacking the days where you chose for, even if that choice was tiny.
And then there's the final mindset shift, which I think is the most liberating of all. Seeing your dream as a direction, not a deadline.
This is huge. The dream shouldn't feel like a punishment. It shouldn't be this heavy thing you're dragging around.
It's not a race.
No. It's a compass. A compass just quietly shows you the way north. It doesn't scream at you, you have to get there by Tuesday. It's just there to give you hope, to remind you that where you are right now isn't the end of the story.
So if you're feeling stressed, the answer is to relax the pressure. You don't have to achieve it this year. You just have to keep walking in that direction.
And this reframes rest completely. Rest isn't failure. Rest is a non-negotiable part of a long journey.
When you see it as a direction, a failure just becomes a detour, a piece of data that helps you adjust your course.
It's not a dead end. And that's what supports the flexible loyalty we were talking about. It makes long-term ambition sustainable.
So the provocative question for the listener becomes, if your dream is a direction, what is one gentle step, not a huge leap, just a gentle step, you can take this week to make sure you're still facing north?
All right, we've covered a lot of ground and built up this whole new vocabulary for making progress. Now let's do that final deep dive on the key concepts and really connect them to the established psychological frameworks.
Yes, this is where we elevate the simple language from the sources and give it that academic and practical weight. It explains why these simple ideas are so powerful.
Let's start with priority. We talked about choosing one main dream for a season. Analytically, what's happening there? You're essentially applying the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, to your own energy. You're identifying the 20% of your effort that's going to produce 80% of the results you want right now.
So instead of spreading your energy thin across 10 things,
You focus it. If you put 80 units of your energy on one priority for 90 days, you achieve what's called critical velocity. You build momentum that starts to sustain itself.
And the key is that it has to get your best energy.
It has to. If your priority only gets your tired leftover energy at 10 p.m., it's not a priority, it's just a wish.
Which clarifies the role of distractions, or the dream thieves. We know they prey on our desire for comfort.
Analytically, distractions work because of a principle called hyperbolic discounting. Our brains are wired to heavily favor immediate rewards
The notification, the snack.
over a delayed, much larger reward, which is the completed dream. So that constant feeling of being tempted to scroll, it's not a moral failure, it's a neurological conflict.
Is your present self fighting your future self?
Exactly. And that's why the solution has to be external. You can't just rely on willpower. You have to use your environment, silence the phone, change your location to give your future self a fighting chance.
Okay, next concept. Consistent. We talked about small, repeated actions. What is consistency actually building in our brains?
It's building those neurological pathways we mentioned, but it's also dramatically increasing your self-efficacy. It's the core of habit formation. We can link this directly to ideas like the don't break the chain method,
Right.
or James Clear's 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, you do it immediately. If your goal is to read more, the 2-minute version is read one sentence. It keeps the chain of consistency intact.
So you're solidifying the behavior as part of your identity.
Yes. It's the compound interest of skill and knowledge. It's small, but it adds up massively over time.
And the emotional tool for when we do break the chain is loyalty.
Loyalty, in this context, is really just another word for self-compassion and resilience. It's the quiet commitment to keep going even when you're not perfect. It accepts that growth isn't a straight line.
So when you choose the 5 honest minutes instead of quitting, you're practicing both self-forgiveness and resilience at the same time.
You are. Loyalty is the total opposite of perfectionism. Perfectionism demands you never fail, which means the first time you do, you quit entirely. Loyalty only demands one thing,
That you come back.
that you return to the path.
And that loyalty is what allows you to see the dream as a direction versus a deadline.
This is such a critical mindset shift. A hard deadline often creates stress that triggers our fight or flight response. You get panic, burnout. But a direction that taps into your intrinsic motivation, it supports a growth mindset. With a direction, resting is part of the journey. A setback is just a course correction. It prevents one bad day from feeling like a catastrophic failure.
And all of these ideas, priority, consistency, direction, are filtered through our personal mindset.
Your mindset is the operating system for your ambition. We have to bring in Carol Dweck's work here on the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
Right. A fixed mindset believes ability is static. You're either good at something or you're not.
So when you make a mistake, it feels like proof. See, I'm not good enough, and you retreat.
But a growth mindset sees a challenge or a mistake as practice, an opportunity to learn.
Exactly. So if you mess up your 15-minute task, the fixed mindset says, I'm bad at this, I should just quit.
The growth mindset says, okay, now I know what doesn't work. Let me try something different tomorrow.
It completely changes how you process failure. It's the framework that makes flexible loyalty possible.
And let's bring it back to that very real feeling of being discouraged.
The sources are clear on this. Feeling discouraged isn't a sign of weakness. It's a normal signal that you're doing something hard and worthwhile.
It's a prompt.
It's a prompt to stop criticizing yourself, to apply some of that self-kindness, and to initiate one tiny new step, the loyalty principle. It's the moment to reread your why, relax the pressure, and just reset your anchor to the smallest possible action.
That compassionate response is what separates a temporary pause from giving up completely.
It's everything. By really analyzing these terms, we've moved from just wishing for things to having a practical, deep framework for making them happen.
So we took a deep dive today into that powerful and I think often overlooked relationship between our biggest wishes and our smallest daily actions. And what we've extracted is a highly effective, analytically sound shortcut for you, the learner.
To boil it all down, the mechanism is this. Choose one main priority for this season. Establish a consistent daily anchor action tied to a specific time.
Protect your focus like your life depends on it, using those short protected blocks of time.
Use your emotional why as your fuel. And above all, practice that flexible loyalty. Keep coming back again and again, especially after you slip up.
And remember the encouragement from the sources. You are not alone in feeling distracted or losing momentum. Everyone does. Progress is not about being perfect.
It's about the habit of coming back. Every small step, even just investing your time to listen to this analysis, is a return to your dream.
The whole discussion today highlighted that a dream's power isn't really about its size. It's about the honesty and the smallness of the daily actions it requires.
So if your current situation is truly not your final story, the question we want to leave you with demands some immediate but tiny accountability.
What single honest action, 5 minutes of research, one concept reviewed, one coin saved, one message written, can you commit to doing before the end of this current day, ensuring that today's momentum starts right now, not tomorrow?
Think small, think honest, and just keep walking in that direction.